All right, hey everyone. I'm gonna play a hunch on this and assume that they give us a tailwind. I don't know if it is for sure, but if it is, I'm gonna probably go with that big topper. Otherwise, I'll probably just set up a second bag here. Make sure I can still get there. Let's try this, and of course, I'll probably go berserker in a situation like this. I really like the topper. It lets you get up, farther than you could with anything else. The only alternative would be like Thor's Hammer 6 or 7, to where you no longer need the big topper. So let's take a look. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like, yep. So this is a very, very similar win to what we're used to playing. What I'll typically do, I can just kind of roughly show you this ring calculation as to what we're going to do here. 4.5 rings. So it's about 2-ish, 2 something per ring. There's not much accuracy on a big topper. You'll have to be very careful to make sure that you're, somewhat close to perfect ball. But we should be able to get it up onto the green with the big topper. Even with this, this is actually the easiest win that they can give us. Anytime that you can start over in this left fairway and the ball just pushes to the right side, it just makes it ideal. You're not going to have like glitchy ball guides where it doesn't fly because you don't have to aim on the edge of the cliff. And this is just a very, very easy hole when they set up the wind like this. So you really are going to want the albatross here. So let's just take a look. Here you can see I get 11.5. We get that wind direction in there, about 5 rings or so. It's kind of where I expect it to land. And we're just going to crank this up. And just make sure, foremost that you land on the fairway somewhere. So I'm expecting, the ball to land somewhere up here. And the biggest thing is going to be this narrow gap here. You're going to see big topper doesn't have a lot of accuracy. So trying to thread it through there is going to be rather challenging. It's going to be the hardest part about this shot. And there you can see I actually great bought 2 rings off to the right. That's really going to put me in trouble. Good. That's what I wanted. So it's actually out of bounds, which is going to allow me to get a second attempt. So I'm actually kind of glad that went into the out of bounds instead of just, that's what I was mentioning about that big topper. It's going to be a very risky shot, and you can see I'm still kind of in master mode because I've kind of been early on everything so far. So, really getting that timing down for expert. You really should kind of be keeping yourself an expert because the needle is so much slower. I'm still kind of playing on master timing. I even did a little bit of Tour 12 yesterday as well, just to make sure that I got kind of my main up into the expert, into the master division as well. But we're just going to regroup here, do this shot again, and see if we can't get onto the green. That's a perfect example of how risky that shot is going to be. However, the payoff is going to be huge. So if you can kind of, work on your timing and get it down, you'll see, we get a very good possibility here. And, probably somewhere around, again, right around 5 rings is going to be where it lands. So I'm assuming somewhere down up here in the middle. A 1 ring is probably okay. A 2 ring is a no-go. So you don't want to have a 2 ring great ball. And once again, it's very, very close. It's going to be right on the edge again. It looks like I did catch it this time. And it looks like it may even hold the fairway. So you can see it barely crept onto the fairway. I mean, that was the edge. And had it been, it looks like the second version I got, another thing to compare is it looked like I got more of a headwind the second time, more of a tailwind the second time. It was more pointed down. So that extra pointed down is actually what allowed that to carry on. Keep in mind, if it doesn't carry on to the fairway, you're probably not going to wind up as good as I just did. So you will have to be very, very careful. Now, there's 2 ways to go for this. I can go for it with a dunk. Endbringer 4, I think it's 80 accuracy, 1.4 per ring at max. Playing the side wind is going to be tough. So at 1.4 per ring, I'm thinking, you know, somewhere around 6 rings for this dunk. And you can see, you know, right around, that's probably only 5.5 rings. So I might just create just a little bit more separation there. So somewhere right around there, right around 6 rings for a 9.4. Perfect ball. And let's see if this is enough. Just, you know, I just wanted to kind of get a threshold, a starting point. So at 1.4 per ring, it was probably a little bit light. 1.3, you know, if I would have gone one more ring, essentially, you know, it looked like I was about 1 ring short. So I went 6 rings. If I would have went 7, which is close to, you know, as I mentioned, more like, you know, 1.25 per ring or so, might have been ideal. Let's just take a look at the notebook there. We do have, you know, some very, very slight elevation. I like to play some of those by feel, especially when you start to throw in wind direction. It gets, you know, a little bit complicated. What was the wind again? 9.5-ish or something. So it's actually showing me somewhere around 7.3 at max. I was almost right at the max line. So somewhere up here. And it's right at kind of 7 rings. And that's exactly what I pretty much should have done. So again, another thing, I have to be on the right ball. But that's only going to change maybe 0.1 or something, 0.2. Very, very little. But you can see probably right around 7 rings would have got it. And, you know, I was close to the max line, but not quite on it. So you'd want to just come in just a little bit. And you can see that that also is another way for you to kind of get that same value there. But good luck with that hole. You can see the big topper is going to be kind of risky. But if you can get that timing down and be, you know, really good with that, it's going to be the way to go. You're going to be up there in wedge range every single time. You know, with a good break at the just a little bit more of a headwind case, there's a good chance that you can reach it to the green, especially if you have big topper 5, big topper 6. Once you start to get a little bit more length in your big topper, it's ideal. But even with these minimum ones, you can still get it down there farther. You know, that's going to be a lot farther than I can get an Apocalypse down there. So that's the main reason to do it. So good luck with that hole, and be looking for my revisions coming up.